How we doing, guys?
Good, Coach.
Good. What do you have to say about your team's ability to pinpoint areas to attack, and then your ability to implement it going into the third quarter of yesterday and really all season to this point?
Yeah, we just needed to keep playing. We were sloppy in the first half. We did some really good things in all phases of our team, but we also did some things that hurt us. And the biggest point of emphasis at halftime was just settle down, buckle down, and start to play the way we're capable of playing. There weren't any drastic adjustments made in any phase of our team. We just needed to start executing ball plays and do what we needed to do to play our best football, and that's what we did.
Dak's not missed a pass in the third quarter this season. You guys outscored your opponents pretty heavily, too. Are halftime adjustments a real thing? Is there anything to that in your mind? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. But you've heard me say this before. The best teams I've been around adjust all throughout the game. It's not like we say, okay, we're seeing all this stuff in the first half, but let's wait till halftime to talk about it, right? So we have headsets on for a reason. We talk about what they're doing after every play, and then certainly when you at the end of a series, you get together and say, okay, this is what happened, this is what we're going to do, this is what we want to get to, on offense, defense, and in certain cases in the kicking game. So what you're trying to do is have that mode of communication go on throughout the game, play after play after play. Obviously, the players out on the field within a drive, they go play. But when you come off, you talk about it and say, okay, what's next? How do we need to clean that up? Okay, what do we need to do? How do we need to attack that? And that continues at halftime. Obviously, at halftime, you have more time to do that. But that should go on throughout the ball game. You should be adjusting and adapting, all throughout the game for 3 hours. That's what the best teams do.
No one's saying you don't do that. It's just such pronounced. The numbers are so pronounced in the third quarter this year.
Yeah, again, I can only answer the way I answer. That's what we try to do. We try to adjust all throughout the ball game. Obviously, you want to come out in the second half. You want to play fast. You want to play well. You want to execute things. You want to get to things that you think can attack the defense or attack the opposing offense to have success. But the biggest thing is just bear down and execute, and I think we've done a good job of that.
What was your overall assessment of how Cheeto played yesterday?
Thought Cheeto did some good things in the game. Obviously, the defensive pass interference, the long play that they had weren't good plays for him. But our corners are out by themselves a lot, and they allow us to do a lot of things defensively because of their ability to consistently cover outside receivers. So sometimes those guys will make plays. He'll learn from those experiences. I thought his play in the end zone down our right-hand sideline to prevent that fade from being a score was a big play in the game. And just competitive throughout, left hand, right hand, wouldn't let the guy finish the play. So I thought he did a lot of good things in the game and certainly some stuff you can learn from.
How much juice did you guys get from having Quinn back yesterday?
I thought he did an excellent job in the game. He played a lot of snaps, over 40 in the game. Played well against the run, was around the quarterback the whole game, was chasing the ball down from sideline to sideline. Thought he was really active, and I thought he did a really good job. And I thought his spirit was contagious throughout our team. I think everybody felt it in a really positive way.
You had him slated to play that many snaps, or did he just perform so well and his conditioning was good enough?
He probably played more than we initially anticipated. And the biggest thing you try to do is you come up with a game plan, but then you say, let's watch him. Let's just kind of keep an eye on him to see how he's doing. Do we stick with that plan? Can he do more? And at no point in the game did you think that he was not able to handle the work. And, again, played a lot of snaps and played very well.
Tony Pollard had more of a prominent role in the running game, had his first recorded touchdown of the regular season. What does he add to the offense?
Yeah, Tony did really well in the game yesterday, and I just think he's getting better and better with every opportunity he gets. And he's playing more decisively. He's playing, I think, tougher, and I think he's finishing runs really well. He had a number of good runs in the game yesterday where, after first contact, he made the guy miss or he broke through the tackle and finished downhill on the run. So it's great to get him out there, getting him some work. Zeke obviously did so many great things in the game for us. Our ability to have both those guys out there running the ball effectively was big for us. And obviously, anytime you're talking about those guys, you have to talk about the offensive line. Thought they did a great job controlling the line of scrimmage throughout, both in the running game and in pass protection.
Tony's playing more decisively. What does that mean?
Yeah, it typically happens with younger players. The more you play, the more experience you get, and And I've been in this situation before, so you attack it a little bit more. So not that he was playing indecisively before, but I thought he really ran tough and ran hard and ran with conviction, and that's what great runners in this league need to do.
Does his running style kind of mirror what Zeke does, so the offensive line really doesn't have to, they understand, okay, he's going to hit the hole this way, he's going to bounce it this way? Is that something that, their styles are so similar that it's easier for the offensive line when they're up front blocking for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always learning the runner if you're an offensive lineman, but I don't think things change drastically with them. Your coach plays a certain way, and the expectation is that the guys are going to run it a certain way, and then their ability takes over after that. It's not like you just give certain runners freedom all over the place. There's a design to the run and how you're going to block it and where you want the runner to hit it, but then they use their freedom after that. And I think he demonstrated quickness and acceleration and a physicalness at the end of the run that's certainly going to help our team.
When you have two guys go for over 100 and Dak score with his legs, what's the challenge for defenses defending that many run threats?
Again, I think the biggest thing you try to do is you try to attack the defense different ways. It starts with run and pass. We've been balanced the last couple of weeks. That's been good for us. We've thrown the ball to different people, and now we're handing the ball to different people. So if you can do those things at a high level and execute them, it just makes you that much more difficult as an offense. You never want to be a team that can only do one thing, because defenses in this league do a great job taking that one thing away. But if you can attack different ways, run and pass, and have variety within each of those, that's going to make it that much more challenging to defend.
Dak was talking about he was too greedy in the first half. How difficult is it for a guy to self-correct midstream when you're in that mode to have the realization to, okay, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, I think the best thing he's done throughout his career with us is made a number of big plays, but he also limits bad plays. And that's what the best quarterbacks in this league do. And, within the game yesterday, he recognized that maybe he was a little aggressive with a couple throws. One of them really hurt us. And, he's the kind of guy who's mature enough and, has enough poise and mental toughness just to learn from it and move on and go to the next play. And, again, that's a really good trait that he has to handle success and handle the adversity of a game and keep moving forward.
If Pollard is able to continue taking a little bit of the load off of Zeke, how much can that help Elliott long term for you guys?
I think it can help him. I really do. Zeke has been such a workhorse for us since we've gotten him, and he embraces it. He gets better and better the more work he gets. But anytime you can put somebody in there that you have confidence in, who can spell him, he comes back that much fresher, during that ball game. And Zeke is obviously a very prominent figure in our offense, and he was yesterday. He really controlled the tempo of the game for us, if you go back and look at it. And so he will continue to have that role for us, but anytime you can put somebody else in and attack the defense a different way, that's a positive for you.
There was a play there in the third quarter where Witt caught a pass in the flat. Before the snap, he helped identify a blitz, and Dak talked about just how important that communication was. How does that communication between those two build, and how long does it take for that to happen?
Well, I think the communication you're referring to probably starts with Witten. He's fantastic at it. He does a great job of recognizing what the defense is doing, what the rules are, what our adjustments are, and getting that communicated before the snap. But I also think Dak does a really good job of that too. So Witt was very demonstrative on that particular play, making sure everybody saw it, but Dak was doing the same thing. So I don't know that that's anything between those two guys. Each of them has a job to do to communicate, and Witt's extraordinary at his position to being able to communicate like that, like a quarterback would communicate. Dak saw it, our offensive linemen saw it, everybody picked it up the right way. Not only did they execute that part of it, but Witt made a really good run afterwards to get us the first down. So that was a big play for us.
Joe Thomas played a bigger role on defense. Just talk about that process and what you're doing with his linebacker.
Joe's a good player. We want to give him opportunities to get out there in certain packages and at certain times in the game, and we did that, and he took advantage of it. He really showed up on special teams, and he showed up on defense, made a lot of tackles for us.
That was the most time on defense that he's seen for you guys in the game since he's been here. What led to that in terms of practice or just what you've seen around the building?
Yeah, again, you're always looking at your team and saying, okay, how do we put guys in a position where they can help us the most? And he's someone who, he backs up all three linebacker spots. He's very comfortable really going into any role for us physically, but also mentally. And he's done some good things. And, a little bit like we were talking about with Zeke and Tony Pollard, when you can give some of those guys on defense a chance to come out a little bit, that's only going to make them that much better. So he handled the work really well and was very productive in the game.
You mentioned Robert Quinn's contagious spirit. Jerry also yesterday talked about the impact he's had from a character standpoint on this team. How would you describe his spirit off the field?
Yeah, he's just a real pro, and that's the reputation he had coming here. Everybody we talked to had been around him, spoke so highly of him as a person as well as a player. We've competed against him for a number of years. We saw how he played. We felt like we had a really good feel for what his football character was based on what we had seen on tape. But once he got here, he's been fantastic. He's a veteran player with a young person's mind. He's always trying to learn and get better. He's embracing the coaching from Rod and from Leon and from some of the other guys that have been around here for a while. And he comes to work every day. He works hard in practice. He competes hard in practice. And it was great to see him out there because not only was he productive in the game, but he played with a tremendous spirit, a relentless spirit. That's exactly how you want your guys to play.
Is any part of Joe Thomas seeing more action related to Jalen not playing as well in certain situations so far at the start of the season?
Again, you're always trying to look at your defense and who can help you the most and what roles. And Jalen certainly has done an excellent job for us since he's taken over that role for us last year. And he'll continue to get better and better as a player. So no negative reflection on him in any way, but just trying to give someone else an opportunity. And Joe's done a good job taking advantage of it.
How did Tristan Hill perform in his debut, and did what he had shown in practice the last couple of weeks manifest itself on game?
Yeah, Tristan did a really good job in the game. First snaps, obviously, in a game-type situation, and I thought he played hard. He was competitive. He was around the ball a lot. He was around the quarterback a lot. Not perfect by any means. Plenty of things he needs to clean up from a technical standpoint, but he played with the right mentality and the right spirit, and there was some production there behind that. So those were good snaps for him.
You look at yesterday, I guess the 8 penalties for 100 yards, and then you lost a lot of yardage, was nullified on other plays. That's the biggest thing to clean up from this game going forward.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there were some big plays that came back. You say it's 8 penalties for 100 yards, but it was well over 100 yards. And so you certainly want to address that and what we can do to coach that better to make sure that our guys don't put themselves in that situation. Not only were the big plays nullified, but it got us behind the chains a little bit at different times as well. One of the penalties gave them another possession. I thought our defense did a good job responding to that after the roughing the kicker. So, certainly those are areas that you want to clean up, and you want to make sure going forward you keep those to a minimum.
Billy Collins seems to be flashing some as a 3 technique rusher. What have you seen in recent weeks as relates to just how he's produced?
He's been a guy since we got him who's played at a very high level. His biggest issue in his career has been he's been banged up too much. And he's been healthy really all throughout the early part of the season, and we're seeing what he's been able to do on a consistent basis. And you said it, he's shown up. He's a very good run defender. He's disruptive. He penetrates gaps. He's in the backfield a lot. He's around the ball a lot. And the same thing, rushing the quarterback. He just has a way about him. He's kind of slippery. He, too, has that relentless spirit where he keeps coming and he makes a lot of plays.
Former quarterback, do you find that interior pressure can be in some ways more disruptive than what happens on the edge? Obviously, it's complementary. You want to come from all angles. But when you have someone who's penetrating inside?
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes pressure in their face. And, you said it. You want it to come from everywhere. But oftentimes, if you have outside pressure and it's pretty firm in the middle, you can kind of step up into the pocket and throw it the way you want to. But if you have people coming at you all the time and you have to move, and now this guy's coming, it can be a challenging environment to have success as a quarterback.
How do you evaluate where your defense is after these 3 games? Because they're not allowing a lot of points, but takeaways and sacks. Obviously, the second half you had 3, but
yeah, we just have to play better, and we just have to play better throughout our whole team. We don't go back and kind of make these big evaluations. Where are we at week 3? It's like let's come to work and clean up what happened yesterday in the game, and build on what was good, and obviously identify the things that aren't up to standard. And I thought our defense did a lot of good things in the game yesterday. I love the spirit that they played with. I thought we were the most physical of the 3 games yesterday. I thought we hit better. Ran to the ball better, more people around the ball. So all of those things are positive that you want to make sure are part of how your defense plays every week. And then you have to clean up the other things, the mistakes we made, communication errors, all those things that are part of executing at a higher level.
I don't believe the Dolphins converted a third down in the second half. Overall, as defense, you guys have been pretty stout in that category. So what do you attest that? What have you thought overall about that specific area?
Yeah, third down has been good for us on both sides of the ball. We've been done a good job converting third downs offensively, keeping the third downs to a minimum offensively, making a lot of first downs on first and second down. That's what the best offenses do. And then on defense, keeping them in some longer down and distance situations on third down. Again, that goes back to how you play on first and second down, and then just simply getting off the field, getting around the quarterback, making plays on the ball, a lot of PBUs, those kinds of things. But, typically if you keep them in longer down and distance situations, it's harder to convert. We all know that, and I think our team has done a good job of that through the first 3 weeks.
I believe that you were the starting quarterback the last time the Cowboys had 2 different 100-yard rushers.
I was.
Curious.
But we threw it early to get the lead, and then we ran it late. Just so you guys know that. You did the game, didn't you, Sham?
Thanks,
guys, we gotta go.
That's an answer. Okay.